Hey guys, welcome back. BDCKR here, and this is week 3 of the Injustice 2 Superman team showcase, and hopefully this will not be the last week.
Yeah.
The goal is to keep winning.
So I guess a quick recap for people who are jumping on episode 3. It's one of our sort of moral of the story kind of teams. It's that the character matters a lot, augmentations matter a lot. I guess we'll show you what's with Superman and stuff.
And we'll only go through it super briefly, but he's max augmented, he's got a ton of basic damage gear, and but he's the only person with any gear, and so we're showing off a relatively low gear score team that can do really well in online multiplayer while only focusing on Injustice 2 Superman, and this kind of demonstrates his place, at least in our opinion, as probably the single best character in the game right now. Which, I mean, makes sense because it is a promo for the second game. It seems like power creep is always a thing, but it seems like the things that tend to have the most power creep are stuff where they really want you to get excited about whatever the actual branding of the character is. For example, the Suicide Squad characters or the Injustice 2 character in this case, right? And that does make a lot of sense because you get more bang for your buck when everyone's talking about Injustice 2 Superman as opposed to just, you know, having him as a playable character but not having him anything extra special.
There we go.
And so this, unlike the first video in the series, is once again being filmed off of our new device, which is the Moto G 3rd Gen, and it's being Chromecast. Yeah. So if anybody has any opinions on the difference in quality or anything noticeable, let us know in the comments what you think. It does cut off a small bit more of the corners, the same way that it normally gets cut off, but just a little bit more noticeably.
Okay.
So there you go, that's
so
gear.
This one is interchangeable with the Butcher Knives because
Just for heal, yeah.
Basic damage, heal, and special 1. This is stun chance. There's no replacement for this because there's basic damage boost and stun chance on special 1.
And the last one is
it's
for
interchangeable.
crit.
There's a bunch that are damage boost and crit chance, and we don't stack them with just a crit chance because he's already crit chance maxed out.
Yeah, it's the principle of diminishing returns, where it's essentially rolling. It's essentially rolling a 50% chance of crit, and then it's rolling a 45% chance of crit on top of that. So with each new consecutive thing, it's not actually boosting it up to 100% or past 100% ever, which means that it's each time it becomes less and less useful.
Right. So we want to make the most of each slot, and you'll see. All right. So talk a little bit about this Red Sun guys and why they're there.
The Red Sun guys are there just for the power gen and damage boost based off of their abilities. So Wonder Woman is 15% per Red Sun character, so that's 30% because there's her and Superman is 25% basic damage for each Red Sun character. So again, that's 30% extra power gen, 50% extra basic damage, just for faster specials. Not that that's like altogether necessary, but it is useful just in case, and for more basic damage, which really is the bread and butter of this loadout.
Oh, I forgot to check out the gear. I always do that. I forget to check the gear of the other team because part of it will be. All right, so there's not when you've only got one guy really that's meant to do all the damage. It's hard to make mistakes and still be successful. So you got to plan out your strategy a little bit better and see who's going to be the dangerous one. In this case, I don't know that anybody's going to be particularly dangerous. Mother Box, we don't care. He's a basic damage dealer. Specials at the beginning don't matter. He doesn't have power at the beginning, but they're gonna Deadshot's gonna take less damage, and he's gonna do extra damage with the Enchantress. I always forget the Enchantress to block after somebody does a special. Yeah. That's my problem. All right, very good. Yeah, I'm really liking this team, but it tells you just exactly where power creep is going, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's been a couple characters since Injustice 2 Superman that haven't been that strong, but I don't know if there's anybody that can really compare it to Superman.
Yeah, we did think Harley Quinn was as good for a while, but she's just not quite as versatile as far as being able to be a tank as well. So, really, I think it's not that there aren't a lot of other viable teams. Like we've done a ton of teams, and a lot of them are still very good. But the main issue is there's no one else who can be a total carry like Injustice 2 Superman is. And yeah, even though he is being supported by some of the probably arguably strongest support characters in the
strongest
game.
old golds.
And one of the stronger support characters too.
Yes.
Despite that, really no one else would be able to totally carry a team the same way.
Okay. Now let's get away a little bit from Injustice 2, because this is sort of ground that we've covered, and now it's just the excitement of losing your way. Oh, interesting. The person I have the most trouble with is Blackest Night, Martian Manhunter, because the timing is hard to get. Okay, that's interesting. Actually, you know what? So I don't want to transfer or tag out too much. What did you think of YouTube Space Toronto?
Oh, it was really cool. So, for anybody who didn't watch that 1 hour, 20-minute video that we posted, I actually had an opportunity just Thursday.
Just a couple days ago.
Yeah, just a couple days ago, to go down to YouTube Space Toronto, meet some creators. There was an AMA with one of YouTube's exec. We're probably going to be uploading a video just with the AMA relatively soon. It's a little bit more technical, and it's a little bit more focused on the creator end of YouTube as opposed to the watcher end of YouTube, but it'd still be interesting. It's going to be a little bit hard because he was standing right next to right next to a really bright light, so he was a little bit in shadow, and so I was really having difficulty getting him and his face to be bright enough in the video to limited success, I would say. Wasn't that great. But anyways, yeah, it was a really great opportunity. Met a lot of really cool people. The people who do the animation for Crash Course, Thought Cafe, were there.
Oh, that's cool.
That was really cool.
I didn't even know they were Torontonians.
I had no idea either. So there wasn't that many people that I knew beforehand, but there's a lot of people who are really interesting, and a couple of people who I'm definitely interested in checking out their channels now. And we will hopefully, like I said, have that video up relatively soon. But it was a really great experience.
Yeah, and it's actually there weren't a lot of people, and I'm surprised because the threshold for getting to go, and I'd imagine there's a lot of people in Toronto who actually
Have that?
It's a big city, right? 1,000 subscribers. That's it.
Yeah. And so that was really interesting. It was a great experience, and I am hoping to do it again because they actually apparently have one every month. Not with the AMA, but
Free drinks, free Hors d'oeuvres. Alright, interesting.
yeah.
So tap combos, we gotta be careful because he's gonna complete them all. What you got? Alright, so she's not too bad. No power gen. That's actually a good sign. And that's the most annoying kind of load out. Is that what you call it? Load out that you can put on Injustice 2 Superman when he heals so much on his first special. And it's any of the guys who avoid specials like Dawn of Justice Superman and Injustice Superman are a bit of a hassle to deal with.
Yeah.
Alright.
I think it was when Harley Quinn was introduced in... Sorry, not Harley Quinn, what am I even saying? Killer Frost was introduced into the metagame as far as blocking healing done. It really did wonders because people's teams had to be totally not centered around healing. Otherwise, there was just a chance that anybody who happened to have the Killer Frost, right?
Well, they did it once before. Remember when healing used to stack?
Yeah. And then they changed it. But specifically when Killer Frost was introduced, it totally cut down on the number of teams centered around healing. And I think the main issue is now, because of the way that the meta is going, very few people are running the healing block Killer Frost. So it's no longer like a defense team fear of centering your team around healing, where if you do it, there's going to be a bunch of people who can just rip through you like butter anyways. No matter what, if you focus your team around healing and you waste all your gear slots. But now they can kind of do it with a little bit more impunity, because I don't think Killer Frost is actually being run that much anymore. So now all of a sudden, instead of changing the way that people geared up their guys, just because she existed and just because she was there to be used. She no longer does that the same way because she isn't used the same way.
That's a good point. One thing you might notice too, actually, the variety of people we're seeing. One of the complaints I see a lot on the forums is that people are saying, "Oh, I always face the same teams. It's so boring." Well, that's one advantage actually of running an unbalanced team. So we've got one guy who's clearly better than everybody else. So look, Injustice Super. Actually, let's recharge now. We recharge.
Yeah, Justice 2 Superman has stats like
He's
head
got,
and shoulders above.
Sure, he's got almost as much as the other two combined. He's like, what, 12,000 less than the other two guys combined, and 21? Oh, yeah. 21, I was just looking at the numbers. 21,000 less in total health than the other two combined, so
Yeah.
he's really like half the team. And so
He
that
is.
means you see a better mix, so you're not always matching against, I mean, you're still getting maximum level battle points, but you're not getting matched against maximum level people.
Yeah,
So-
because you can see a team that's similarly imbalanced. You can see a team where there are some of the best characters, but they're not all maxed out. And that means that you're also likely to be seeing different
Alright.
gear, loadouts, stuff like that too.
Oh, did I check their gears? Did I forget? Yeah, crap.
I think you forgot.
So I'm going
You're
to
too
block
busy
his
doing
special
that.
because what I'm going to do is save the protection for Killer Frost. 'Cause her special, because it slows you down,
Is a lot more damaging.
is a lot, way more problem.
Yeah, they need to do something with that animation and not just have you stand there because it totally looks incongruous with all the action. Like this game in a lot of ways has stuff like the animations look really, really nice. But there is a couple of shortcomings like that. Especially the Wonder Woman lasso in her third special.
Oh, and when she transfers the shield from one hand to the next?
Oh,
for no
true.
particular reason?
Well, that one is almost impossible to notice. But the Wonder Woman lasso in her third special, where it just wraps around a person, and you can totally see the complete sphere, and then the area in between where the circle of the lasso rope is, and where their body is.
Yeah, you know what's funny is that, considering it is a free game, we have relatively high expectations of it.
Well, because they've done so much good. We know that they're capable of doing a lot of really good stuff. And I think, for at least for that Wonder Woman animation thing, that's not actually an issue for me. It's just something kind of funny. I actually enjoy seeing that side of the game that isn't actually necessarily perfect. But yeah, I agree. We do have very high expectations for the game. And I've mentioned this a lot recently, that the weakest point of a mobile game is always its gameplay. And I think actually I've proven myself wrong very soon after that, because I just picked up the mobile version of Terraria, and it's the exact same gameplay as a wonderful PC game.
You used to play that
Yeah,
a
I
lot.
played like 100 hours of Terraria, actually, overall. Most of that was messing around with my friend on servers. But the gameplay in mobile Terraria is almost exactly the same as the gameplay in regular Terraria. The only difference is the controls, and the controls do make it like worse. They make it a lot harder to play. But for anybody who's not acquainted with those kind of acquainted with those kind of controls for PC anyways, might not find them actually that much more difficult than the PC controls. So I think Terraria is actually a really good example of a game that was entirely preserved when moving over to the mobile version in a way that not a lot of things could be. So, like, a lot of the controls are still a little bit more finicky, but it plays as mostly the same game.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's sort of the whole idea of controls and stuff is interesting to me, because there's one game that I'm playing right now that's mobile first, so all the controls are specifically tailored for mobile gameplay.
Are you saying it's also a PC game?
No, it's not, but it's just that the controls...
Yeah, it's mobile, not adapted from anything else, so... But you're talking about Renegade, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's also adapting from a game type that is traditionally not mobile at all. It's traditional, like the first-person shooter genre is very PC. But the funny thing with Terraria, I think, is that the mobile version is actually cheaper, and I don't know if that is because people don't pay as much money for mobile games, or if they recognize that the controls actually make it that much harder to play, and they're saying the difference in control scheme actually makes it worth less money.
Oops.
Either way, I find it kind of entertaining. There we go.
You need a little bit of help. That's a good thing when you have a secondary effect on your special. You're not always second guessing yourself, thinking, I need to make the most out of it and get the most damage. Sometimes getting a little bit of health is enough. And that was it. Wow, that was fast.
So there we go. That was our episode 3. If things keep going on at this rate, this might be a very long series.
Yeah. All right. So people always ask, what's the best team? There is no single best team. And what you need to do is figure out how you like to play, what resources you've got, and figure out a strategy to make the most of it. Because I think there's a lot of guys that are good, but I think at this point, Injustice 2 Superman is probably the best.
Yeah, and you should figure out how to do that by watching all of our online multiplayer videos.
Twice.
And also commenting on all of our videos. That helps too.
I think that helps you integrate the information into your own memory so that you can actually use it better.
Anyways, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Komoda.